the archetypal battle of virtue and evil, the benevolent and righteous acting on behalf of all people against a tyrant and his coterie of parasite supporters, had its origin with his conflict. The Shang's earlier conquest of the Hijra, although portrayed as having been similarly conceived, occurred before the advent of written language and was only a legend even antiquity. However, the Chow's determined effort to free the realm from the yoke of suffering and establish a rule of virtue and benevolence became the inspirational essence of China's moral self-perception. As dynasties decayed and rulers became morally corrupt and increasingly ineffectual, new champions of righteousness appeared who confronted the oppressive forces of government, rescued the people from imminent doom, and returned the state to benevolent policies. Moreover, in the view of some historians, the Shang-Chao conflict marked the last battle between different peoples because starting with the Chao dynasty, military engagements within China were essentially internal political clashes. However, confrontations between inhabitants of the agrarian central states and the nomadic steppe peoples continued throughout Chinese history, reflecting in part the self-conscious identity emphasized by the people of the central states in contrast with their barbarian neighbors. As portrayed in such historical writings as the Shi, and in accord with good moral tradition and the plight of the people, the Shang had ascended to power by overthrowing the last evil ruler of the previous dynasty. The Hijra, after generations of rule, the Shang emperors, due perhaps to their splendid isolation and constant indulgence in myriad pleasures, are believed to have become less virtuous and less capable. Their moral decline continued inexorably until the final ruler, who history has depicted as evil incarnate. The many perversities attributed to him including imposing heavy taxes, forcing the people to perform onerous labor services, mainly to provide him with lavish palaces and pleasure centers, interfering with agricultural practices, thereby causing widespread hunger and deprivation, indulging in debauchery, including drunkenness, orgies, and violence, brutally murdering innumerable people, especially famous men of virtue and loyal court officials, and developing and inflicting inhuman punishments. However, as the following brief excerpt from the Shang Annals in the Shi records, the king was also talented, powerful, and fearsome. In small letters, very, very small letters. In natural ability and discrimination, Emperor Chao was acute and quick. His hearing and sight was extremely sensitive, and his physical skills and strength surpassed other men. His hands could slay a fierce animal. His knowledge was sufficient to ward off criticism, and his verbal skills were sufficient to adorn his errors. He boasted to his ministers about his own ability. He was haughty to all the realm with his reputation, and he believed that all were below him. He loved wine, debauched himself in music, and was enamored of his sensorts. He loved Tai Chi and followed her words. Thus, he had Shi Chu Han create new licentious sounds, the pelly dance of licentious women, and the lewd music of fluttering down. He made the taxes heavier in order to fill the deer tower with coins, and stuffed the Chi Chow storehouses with grain. He increased his collections of dogs, horses, and unusual objects, unflowing the palace buildings. Unflowing the palace buildings. He expanded the Chao Shu garden tower and had a multitude of wild animals and flying birds brought there. He was disrespectful to ghosts and spirits. He assembled numerous musicians and actors at the Shao Shu's garden. He made a lake of wine and a forest of hanging meat, and had naked men and women pursue each other in them, conducting a drinking feast throughout the night. The 100 surnames looked toward him with hatred, and some of the feudal lords revolted. Okay, I'm gonna start right there. Alright, I'm gonna say this, man. Jesus. 40.